Hi everyone, this is Sijos Bhaskar. I welcome you all to the CBSE online classes. Today we are going to discuss the second chapter of Class 8 History. The name of the chapter is From Trade to Territory. Aurangzeb was the last of the powerful Mughal rulers. He established control over a very large part of the territory that is now known as India. And after his death in 1707, many Mughal governors and big zamindars began asserting their authority and establishing regional kingdoms. As powerful regional kingdoms emerged in various parts of India, Delhi could no longer function as an effective center. By the second half of the 18th century, however, a new power was emerging on the political horizon, and that is the British. Did you know that the British originally came as a small trading company and were reluctant to acquire territories? They were not ready to attack and capture the territories of India. How then did they come to be masters of a vast empire? My question, how they became the emperors? How they became the masters of India? In this chapter, you will see how this came about. In 1600, the English East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England, Queen Elizabeth I, granting it the sole right to trade with the East. This meant that no other trading group in England could compete with the East India Company. With this charter, the company could venture across the oceans looking for new lands from which it could buy goods at a cheap price and carry them back to Europe to sell at high prices. The company did not have to fear competition from other English trading companies. Mercantile trading companies in those days made profit primarily by excluding competition so that they could buy cheap and sell dear. They could buy cheap products and sell it in the market and get huge profit. The Royal Charter, however, could not prevent other European powers from entering the eastern markets. By the time the first English ships sailed down the west coast of Africa, round the Cape of Good Hope, and crossed the Indian Ocean, the Portuguese had already established their presence in the western coast of India and had their base in Goa. In fact, it was Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer, who had discovered the sea route to India in 1498. And after the discovery of the sea route to India in 1498 by Vasco da Gama, the Dutch too were exploring the possibilities of trade in the Indian Ocean. Soon the French traders arrived on the scene. The problem was that all the companies were interested in buying the same things. The fine qualities of cotton and silk produced in India had a big market in Europe. Pepper, cloves, cardamom, and cinnamon too were in great demand. Competition among the European companies inevitably pushed up the prices at which these goods could be purchased, and this reduced the profit that could be earned. The only way the trading companies could flourish was by eliminating rival competitors. The urge to secure markets therefore led to fierce battles between the trading companies. When did English East India Company begin trade in Bengal? The first English factory was set up on the banks of the river Hooghly in 1651. This was the base from which the company's traders, known at that time as factors, operated. The factory had a warehouse where goods for export were stored, and it had offices where the company officials sat. As trade expanded, the company persuaded merchants and traders to come and settle near the factory. By 1696, it began building a fort around the settlement. 2 years later, it bribed Mughal officials into giving the company zamindari rights over three villages. One of these was Kalikata, which later grew into the city of Calcutta or Kolkata as it is known today. The English East India Company persuaded the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to issue a farman granting the company the right to trade duty free. Farman is actually a royal edict or a royal order. The English East India Company compelled the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to issue a royal order to grant the company the freedom of trade without duty, without any tax. The farmer granted the company the right to trade duty free, but the officials were asked to pay duty on private trade. We have gone through the history of India. The English people came to India, established their trading company, the English East India Company, and they got the monopoly right to trade with India. They started trading with many Indian provinces and they got enormous profit. But how the trade led into battles and how there arise the conflict between English East India Company and the Indian Nawabs and Indian rulers. The English East India Company tried continuously to press for more concessions and manipulate existing privileges. And Aurangzeb's farman, royal order, for instance, had granted only the company the right to trade duty free, but officials of the company who were carrying on private trade on the side were expected to pay duty. This they refused to pay, causing an enormous loss of revenue for Bengal. How could the Nawab of Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan, not protest? There arose a rivalry between the Nawab of Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan, and the English East India Company. Through the early 18th century, the conflict between the company and the Nawabs of Bengal intensified. And after the death of Aurangzeb, the Bengal Nawabs asserted their power and autonomy as other regional powers were doing at that time. Murshid Quli Khan was followed by Alivardi Khan and then Siraj Dawla. As a Nawab of Bengal, each one of them was a strong ruler. They refused to grant the company's concessions, demanded large tributes for the company's right to trade, denied it any right to mint coins, and stopped it from extending its fortifications. And accusing the company of deceit, they claimed that the company was depriving the Bengal government of huge amounts of revenue and undermining the authority of the Nawab. It was refusing to pay taxes, writing disrespectful letters, and trying to humiliate the Nawab and his officials. The company on its part declared that the unjust demands of the local officials were ruining the trade of the company, and trade could flourish only if the duties were removed. It was also convinced that to expand trade, it had to enlarge settlements, buy up villages, and rebuild its forts. The conflicts led to confrontations and finally culminated in the famous Battle of Plassey. The Battle of Plassey, fought in 1757, laid the foundation of British Empire in India. From 1757 to 1947, and almost 200 years, British ruled India and established their supremacy in India. The famous Battle of Plassey, it was with the Bengal Nawab Siraj-ud-Dawla and the English East India Company. And after the death of Alivardi Khan, Siraj-ud-Dawla became the Nawab of Bengal. The company was worried about his power and keen on a puppet ruler who could willingly give trade concessions and other privileges. So it tried, though without success, to help one of Siraj-ud-Dawla's rivals become the Nawab. An infuriated Siraj-ud-Dawla asked the company to stop meddling in the political affairs of his dominion, stop fortification, and pay the revenues. And after negotiations failed, the Nawab marched with 30,000 soldiers to the English factory at Kazim Bazar, captured the company officials, locked the warehouse, disarmed all Englishmen, and blockaded English ships. Then he marched to Kolkata to establish control over the company's fort there. On hearing the news of the fall of Kolkata, company officials in Madras sent forces under the command of Robert Clive, reinforced by naval fleets. Prolonged negotiations with the Nawab followed. Finally, in 1757, Robert Clive led the company's army against Siraj-ud-Dawla at Plassey. The British army was vastly outnumbered, consisting of only 800 Europeans and 2,200 Indians. The British general Robert Clive bribed the Nawab's uncle and chief of army, Mir Jafar, who controlled the artillery and much of the army. The result was that Siraj-ud-Dawla was deserted by the best troops in his army, and the British easily defeated those who remained loyal. The Battle of Plassey took place on June 23, 1757. One of the main reasons for the defeat of the Nawab was that the forces led by Mir Jafar, one of Siraj-ud-Dawla's commanders, never fought the battle. Clive had managed to secure his support by promising to make him Nawab and after crushing Siraj-ud-Dawla. The Battle of Plassey he considered to be the start of British rule in India. It became famous because it was the first major victory the company won in India. That's all from the first part of Chapter 2 History of Class 8. The remaining portion of this chapter we will discuss in our next video. Thank you all. Have a nice day.